Technivorous channel is brought to you by these fine Patreon supporters.
Hey folks, Technivorous here. Today we are going to be looking at the new drop release of the Cura 4.7 beta. Now I can tell you that I've been covering Cura and their releases for almost a year now, and this has been the longest wait I've had to wait in between release versions. So that tells me that they've put a lot of time and effort into this, although there is, due to the nature of the world right now, the possibility that it was also drug out simply by the fact that people are working from home and not coming together as often. Or locally to work on things, which tends to draw out the process a little bit. But I'm opening Cura 4.7 right now. We're going to take a look at some of the new features, and I definitely encourage you, when Cura puts out a beta, to download the beta and try it out, because feedback is what gets this beast going and also helps prevent any bugs in the actual release. Now that said, you're going to receive an option when you download Cura and install it to keep your old version. Definitely keep your old version when working with a beta. You don't want to screw up and delete it and then have to re-download it. Better to just keep it, have all your settings there, and be able to go back to it if you have problems with the beta. Now, I'm not anticipating anything major, and we're going to jump into this right now. And here it is. Now, I haven't dragged over any of my extra themes yet, so that's why this looks a little bit plainer than usual on my screen, but it should look pretty close to what you have on yours. And as you can see, we are in the version 4.7 beta. So, let's discuss a few things. The first thing that popped out to me was this change to the experimental features. They took out the tree support out of experimental. Should be right here. And they've actually added it to the regular support section. Now this is a big deal for me because I generally only use tree support. And sometimes I turn on tree support and regular support and it just wastes plastic because you don't need both. So I'm glad that they feel that they've used this enough now that it is pretty much stable, so they've included it as a standard ability under support, which is amazing. A couple other cool things that I thought were pretty nifty. Let's go ahead and drag a model in here. This is another contribution by Field of View. Now at the end of this video I'm going to give you a website, and it is going to be the download website for the beta, but it is also going to have a bunch of other stuff. So the main thing is, if you look at that page, you will see a list of all the different contributions and additions to this version of Cura. And in that, you'll see that most of these things, there's a lot of them that are added by a user named Field of View. He's actually really involved with making additions and updates to this. So thank you to him for some of the things that he added. Let's see if we can try one of them out here. Alright, so word of warning right off the bat, I will tell you I'm having a little bit of problems dragging and dropping models into here. It won't let me for some reason. I did have to go to File and Open, which sucks. That's kind of a big deal. But let's take a look at some of these other features. So if you look here in rotation mode, there are these arrows here now. So you can still grab the circle and drag them around, but if I hit this blue arrow, it'll rotate by 90 degrees in that direction, which is nice. Makes it nice and easy, 2 clicks to lay things flat if you're not using this, or to manipulate your model and get it exactly where you want. So that is one of the features that Field of View added, and it is really helpful. There is also some performance, let's see here, some performance enhancements for when you have more than one model. So when you fill a Cura build plate, it can become kind of bogged down, and it seems to slow the slicer down quite a bit. Let's get rid of these ones just because they're off the plate anyway. But you can see I'm still able to rotate and grab, and everything is still functioning and flowing pretty simply, even with 5 objects on the build plate. So that's an improvement for sure. There have also been some cloud connections improvements. And as I said, they moved that tree support to regular support. The performance improvements with multiple 3D models like you see here may seem like a minor thing, but if you do plates, like once in a while I'll print a whole chess set, and after you add in those last couple pieces, it's really slow to move around, rotate, slice, and manipulate those models. So this is a very nice improvement, and I like it quite a bit. You will also notice that there are some other things going on here. So if I go to search settings and say I'm looking for a setting having to do with, let's try cooling. So now it not only finds settings that have the word cooling in the name, but it finds any setting that has anything to do with cooling. So it finds the final print temperature, fan speed override, whether the fan's on, and the fan there. So let's try another one. Let's check out where all are the support options. You can see there are options that deal with support in quality, infill, material, speed, travel, and the actual support section. So if you're trying to dial in your support settings and you were only using these ones here, you probably get an alright model. But if you use the rest of these settings and adjust them properly, you will have a lot better outcome. And that is because all of these settings are interdependent on each other. And it's nice that Cura now shows you not only the setting you're looking for, but the settings that affect them as well. So that is a very, very nice addition. There are also some additions for adding local printers. And they also did this here. Where did it go? One second, I just gotta find it and then I'll explain here. Okay, it's because I'm looking at the toolbar, but it's actually in the edit menu. There is a multiply selected model option here, as well as in the right click. Now this wasn't here before, it is now. I generally right click and use that version of this tool, but it's nice to have another option there as well. So there are some other options as well. So you can set it to check for account updates manually instead of automatically, which is a new thing. Another new addition by Field of View, which is amazing, is the always select last write device. Now what this is it has a preference to save to whatever you saved to last time, and you can change it, but once you change it the next time, it will first ask you if that's where you want to save it to again. So instead of immediately trying to put it into your C folder or something like that, when you have a USB disk in there, it'll automatically put it to that disk if that's what you used the last time. So that saves a little bit of time on clicking buttons and changing things around. And there were some other options having to do with post-processing scripts, such as the post-processing script for the Z height. There was a bug where if you use the change at Z, you can run into some issues where it would run into the model, and they have apparently fixed that bug as well as several others. They've also added a bunch of new printer definitions to this version, including the Lotmax Shark, which you should be seeing on the channel here in the coming days, as well as some Anycubic, some custom SmoothieWare printers. There's actually a lot of new printers. Tronxy added some new ones. There's Predator printers and a mesh for the flsun QQ, which we'll be looking at using on my Q5 Mini. By mesh, I mean there is a model that's what it shows around the model when you have that printer. So like if I go to, maybe it'll show it if I select the QQ. No, it's not going to. But basically it'll show a model of the actual printer around it, so you get a better idea of what your build space is. So I'll have to adjust that so it shows that mesh. But the other things that I wanted to point out, there are several really, really cool minor tweaks in here. I'm not going to go over them all. As I said, I will leave that address and you can check out the release notes yourself. There's quite a bit to look at. There is a bunch of new stuff for online and offline printers. They went in and they removed the ratings feature for things that are in the marketplace. So if I go in here, you'll no longer see the star system that they had before for rating things. Everything is still there, it's just the rating system wasn't used very often or very well, so they kind of deprecated it, which is not really a big deal. There is also an add post-processing script display progress on LCD. Now this one is really cool. I'm not going to wait for that to load. It takes forever. So let's go to extensions. Maybe. Apparently it wants me to go to preferences. Come on! I broke it. Alright, momentary freeze. Don't hold that against them. That's I'm running out of memory here on my computer. In fact, I have a pretty bad memory leak, but we'll work on that another time. Let's see here. So I'm going to check out the post-processing and modify G-code, add a script. Let's see. So display file name and layer on LCD. That one's old. This is the one that we're talking about, display progress on LCD. And you can decide if you want it to show the time remaining, the percentage, or both. So we're going to go ahead and click that. You can see because of the update in the last version where they have this little 1 here, that I do have one post-processing script enabled. Now this is an addition from the last version where it makes it easy to notice before you slice that you do still have scripts turned on in case you want to go in there and see what's on and turn them off. It's actually really easy to do from right down here. Great addition to 4.6. So we're talking about 4.7. So there are a couple other changes. Change at Z improvements. That's a post-processing script as well. They took away the spaghetti infill because the setting was rarely used and it didn't work well. That was one of the experimental settings, so you won't see that down here anymore. The breakup support in chunks category has become more prominent, and I feel like that might be one of the things that they're working on changing the most coming up. And then as well as some other options in experimental that I would like to see get to actual features so they're stable. So in special modes, you'll notice that there are a couple of options here. The relative extrusion rather than absolute is one that has been in there for a little while, but depending on your printer, this might be worth checking out because there's some interesting things that happen when you use relative extrusion, and it is really, really good to use on particular printers. The Q5 in particular works pretty well with it, and I think that has something to do with the fact that when it's laying down a path, it's using all 3 motors, so it pushes the amount of plastic needed for the angle in the part, basically, which is nice. So let's talk about some bug fixes. So support no longer generated on some parts of the model. That was an issue with stair steps that has been resolved to make sure the bottom side of the support is correct again. So that, and there were a couple of tree support improvements before they moved it to the stable. And there are a couple other things. So it now will tell you if your model is not manifold, and you'll get an error. And in that case, you can go back to your editing software and fix it. There is no quick fix in Cura yet. I'm sure they're working on that as well. And there are a plethora of other things to look at. There's now an option to add a networked printer by IP, which is kind of nice as well. It wasn't possible to connect a network printer if 2 network plugins were enabled simultaneously, and now it is. So support settings are not visible if support is disabled, but support mesh is present. That was an error that was fixed by field of view. Again, when looking through these documents, you will find field of view's name everywhere. I mean, he probably should have a credit on the main Cura opening page saying that most of this stuff is his, to be honest. But again, that's going to be it for the 4.7 beta version of Cura. There are some unique new changes. I like that they moved the tree support to standard support, and I like some of the other things that they've done as well, including this really handy little rotation feature. It seems like something small, but to get an exact 90-degree angle is actually, it's really nice. It comes in handy, and there are a lot of things that you can do with this. So, like I said, I will leave the address for the release notes as well as the download page. This is the same page. It'll be one address. I'll put it down below. And at the bottom of the release notes, let's go ahead and take a look while we're looking at the release notes here. So this is the page. You're going to come down here at the bottom and select the version that you want to download to try out. Now, as I said, make sure that you keep your older version of Cura, and make sure that you are comfortable with this version before changing it completely. Now, if I go in here, you can see all of my themes are gone. I'm going to go ahead and make some adjustments and bring those themes over to here. And the next time you see me talking about Cura will be a couple weeks from now when we're talking about the full release. But before then, I would love to hear your feedback on the beta, and so would Ultimaker. So definitely download it, drop them a line, let them know how you feel about this software, let them know what improvements you like, what improvements aren't working for you. Definitely keep them updated on any bugs so that they can get them removed before the full release of 4.7. And basically, we'll see you in the next one, guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Leave a like down below if this video was helpful or interesting to you. And drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about this version of Cura. Let me know if you are still using an older version of Cura. My current version that I have for stability that I kept when I downloaded this instead of deleting one is 4.61. There's 4.62 as well. I kind of skipped over that one. It was just a minor update. So this is going to be out in the next couple of weeks. Please, 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 as the 3D printing community, it is our job to test and check everything out. So throw it on, slice something up, get it on the printer, and if you have any errors or bugs, that's actually what we're looking for. Let Ultimaker know so we can fix that before the full release. That way, when the full release comes out, we can feel confident in getting rid of our old version and just sticking with the new full version. And I'm very, very excited to see where Cura is headed in the coming days. It has been a while since they put out an update, and this one is fairly substantial. It's not the biggest I've seen from them, but this is also just another update. It's not a full version iteration. So in the future, you will eventually hit Cura version 5.0. I don't know what they're going to do between 4.9 and 5.0, because as I said, they do put out quite a few versions of software quite often. They update a lot. Field of View is always contributing stuff. I'm thinking about trying to get a hold of them and seeing if they might be interested in including some of my themes in the actual download so people can get some more color and not have to go to these separate websites. But we'll see what they say. Let me know if you think that's a good idea down below as well. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Technivorous out.
Well, that's it, guys. That's going to wrap up this video. If you've noticed a shirt, the merch is available. Go ahead and check out the Teespring merch link down below. It won't be available on a channel store until I reach 10,000 subscribers, and so far I am just about to hit 5,000. So it'll be a little while, a couple more months before you see this on the actual channel, but they are available now. I have a couple other designs. Feel free to pop over there and check them out, and know that any purchase through the Teespring site definitely helps to promote our site here and increase the channel's ability to make videos in the future. So we appreciate all your support. Don't forget to check out the Teespring link, check out our Patreon link, leave a like on this video, and hit that subscribe button because we have a lot more coming at you in the coming days.